What is up, beautiful people? Man, I thought it looks like I got a scratch right here, man. I don't know where this came from. I think I was wrestling with my dogs. Man, hold on real quick before I bring this up. Let me just ask. Ah, would you look at that? June is also Men's Mental Health Month, and it's also Pride Month. So if you talk about your feelings, you guys can finish that off. Nah, man, I'm just kidding. I saw that at a reel or a meme. I'm wrapping up some work right now, and I was just thinking about it. Man, I don't know much about mental health. I don't know much about that. I don't know much about some of the things. Just a lot of shit, man. I don't know a lot about. I don't know a lot about a lot. Um, I will tell you something that I am very, very knowledgeable in. It is doing life, my life. I have gotten really, really good in a good mental like headspace as of recently, and the reason I say that is because, man, I hate to say this, but like, kind of like I don't want to be an advocate for it, but it's when I did shrooms, man. Um, I don't know if it was that or it was just like where I was at in life. I'll read something to you guys because there's some stuff in this journal that I wrote when I was going through some stuff, man, and like I don't know if this is what helped me or not, but it definitely didn't hurt. Um, I look at this stuff like, man, there's a bunch of shit on my stuff going off all the time. So like, this was one in October 7, 22. October 7, 22 is when I would write in, started really doing this. And then some of the things I'd write in here was like, make March 2023 is the deadline. That was a deadline I gave myself to quit my full-time job and go full-time real estate. And that was around March 7th of 22. And it's crazy to look back, now as I sit here, it's what, June 5th? And I'm wrapping up my next month will be my year anniversary of going full time. So it's cool to like just for me to look back and reflect of what I've been able to do and what I've been able to accomplish, right? And this is the stuff that builds confidence, because I know that if I put my mind to something, I can accomplish this, right? And then also like kind of I had a conversation with some friends, the other day, and we spent a lot of time together, and just kind of allowing myself to kind of go through the emotions of like what I'm feeling. Like right now, I'm in a very good like mental headspace. I would say is because business is going good. Um, Although I do wish my finances were a little bit more in line with my goal, but I know that like I'm building. And in the building phase, there's going to be some sacrifices and you're going to go through this rocky journey. And the only reason I know that is because I've talked to some friends that are very successful from a business standpoint, and they also remind me that they were broke at one point, and it's cool to see that and go through that, and I'm in a very flexible position right now, because I can go through this journey, and for whatever reason, a spouse or a partner and kids are not in my picture right now, and will they ever be? I don't know. But that's something else I'd like to kind of lean into at some point. But as of right now, like I'm in a good spot. I would say business is going well, and compared to last month and the year before. I would say that definitely the finances are still a concern. Definitely still feel the pressure of what's the next 6 months going to look like. So what I do is I am aware of that, but I don't let that be the ultimate focal point in my life, because I know that I'm good right now, and if I continue to focus on the one thing that is going to financially benefit me the most, then I'll be okay. And if I work that backwards, I will say that prioritizing people and their real estate problems is going to be the one thing that is going to benefit me, as long as I can solve their problems, go above and beyond to solve their problems. So that's another thing I feel like I'm kind of tapping into, with the fact that I don't market much on social media as far as like real estate goes, or just not even on social media, but just in general, right? I don't market much other than just on social media, and the referrals are like coming in, and they say real estate is a flow, right? You get a wave of traffic, and you want to ride that wave out, because it's not always going to be like that, and I'm sure that's true because I felt it. But I've also never been this confident in my ability to do real estate and take on anything. The other day I went and I showed some property, some ranch stuff, and I just flat out was just told the guy, I was like, look, guys, like, you guys are probably gonna know a lot more about this than me. I know the real estate side of stuff. I've had one situation, experience with a ranch, but other than that, I don't have a lot of information, or knowledge doing this. I have a lot of the fundamentals of real estate, but I guarantee you I can figure it out. And I'll be honest with you, you're not just getting me, you're getting a whole book of like business, or just resources that I have. So I am definitely a lot more confident in my ability to apply myself to something and commit to it and see it through. And the reason I say that is because I have March 2023 as the deadline, of what I set out to do, and I'm doing it now. But it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows, and it's been tough. But again, having those like-minded business individuals around me, and them also share their testimony of eating nothing but like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and saving every penny that they needed to in order to see this business go through. All that stuff is just reassuring that what I'm going through is what a lot of people go through when they venture out and do this. And again, to see where I am going into, this month, and having 2 deals lined up. That's the first time I've ever done that, and to see that happen is another reassuring thing for me, that validates what I'm capable of doing, which in turn builds confidence. So, yeah, man, and like kind of just going back to this like shroom thought of things, right? It was like, this was like random shroom thoughts, and then I was watching this like Clutch podcast of this guy that does real estate in like the San Antonio area, and it was talking about like branding yourself and making the t-shirts, getting the logo done, which you guys now are familiar with that. Kind of garage sale was one. I wanted to cleanse the house of a lot of stuff that I was holding on to for no reason. Follow up with the Alvin property that I was looking at. I was going to reach out to some investors and go that route. And I went to sleep like around 2 o'clock, and then I woke up around 5:30. I headed to the gym. I recorded till about 8. A meeting. I met at my friend's house for work, and then I guess I went out that night or the night after, and like I wrote on here, I was like tired, obviously from my rage. Stayed in, ate dinner at home, walked the dogs. Need to walk them at least once a day. This was like 7 days of no alcohol. Weighed in at 181. Hopefully, gym before work in the morning. Things that went well. I met with the family and conducted some business. That was that. And then the other one was like, I don't think this was like a mushroom thought, but like, I'll write in here like, concern. Oh, this was still by that house. It was like concerns were cosmetic stuff. Offer on this property should be in this week. Need to populate the seller's disclosure ASAP. Also need to follow up with the showings that were at 6 p.m. This listing has an open house at this time tomorrow, and then mainly just thankful for all the blessings that I have. Things I could have done better was not react, and I guess not react and overthink things. Not re, not react over. Oh, not react over things that are my responsibility at work. Be more appreciative of my current career. Accomplish tasks at work a lot sooner. Knock out all tasks as soon as possible. Things I must do tomorrow, run comps on this property, edit the podcast and upload it, call my mom, type a letter to some clients, figure out my quote unquote number. Things I'm thankful for: my life, my health, my career that I had at the time, my family, the business, the major support from my friends online in this journey. And still till this day, man, I wrote this was probably October 7th, 2022, and still pumping out content, man. March 2020, or sorry, October. This is all October. October 28th, October 8th, I knocked out a workout. I did my task at work early. The first offer changed their mind. The second offer is pending. Things I need to do is finish the podcast, the t-shirt, PNG logo, figure out my number, which was my number to quit, how much money I need. Need to make time for mom, dad, and grandma. Overall, a solid day. Saw friends as well. Gym in the morning, walk the dogs in the evening, swept and mopped. Also laundry. Also laundry Sunday to avoid doing it on Monday. This was a time where I was actually in a trip here. I was in a funky little trip. Somebody asked me if I was hungry. Down. This is where I was like in a trip, and this was the end of October, or sorry, the end of the Monday day, October, I think. I guess I took some shrooms that day too. And I was still at the plant doing this stuff. I didn't care at this point. Like I was like super in like my own head. I was super in my own thoughts. I was super in my own, kind of like just in my own head, really. That's been a lot of it all, man. Things, and I just wrote some stuff down here, and I wrote, this family, it's a real estate deal. I reached out to a friend and a boat idea he had, wanted me to weld on some stuff. A relationship that had just ended, that was a key highlight on here. Shout out to Sweet Roars for the supplying of the shrooms there. They were awesome. I was in a low on this day, and mental low, like a low period, right? Like a low day. And I guess these are things that I did. I was in an open house. I was short on cash, which might be the root of my feelings. I was a little lonely. I was a little sad, question mark. And then to kind of like follow up with that, I kind of wrote some things down here where I was like, things I'm grateful for. 1 was life. 2 was progress in my real estate career. 3 was like my family is good. 4, I have a home. I have food. I have health. 5, I had my old, operator position, and I had real estate income. Good things about me. I'm honest, I'm understanding, I'm hardworking, I'm driven, I'm resilient, I'm resourceful, I'm humble, I think. And then I did a podcast with, I think this was a Sunday where I went to a Chicano Boulevard event at Rabbit's Got a Gun. That was fun. That was a good day. I don't know why I was in a low then, but I wrote down at the end of it, I wrote like, this too shall pass. Because some things that I've started to be a little bit more aware of is it's the roller coaster of emotions, and what I've become what I'm starting to realize, and I'm glad I'm realizing this at this age, because I feel like there's not a lot of people that, I don't feel like, I know there's not a lot of people that like really ever really truly figure this stuff out, and I feel like I'm tapping into something really beautiful here, at least for me. So there's this like, if I had to say, there's like this, to put it into simpler, to draw it at least, and to keep it tight, baby. What is this? Yeah, I'll do this. I'll do, I'll just do it right here on this page. Actually, I'll do it on the next page. And I'll use the back of this page. I would say it's like, it's this. I would say it's this baseline of life, right? We've got this baseline of life right here, right? And I would say this is the end, and then this is a start. I would say birth, right? There's this like, you're born and you go through life and then you end up dying, right? And in the series and in the seasons of life, this is kind of what happens. Boom. So in the seasons of life, in the series of life, at least like the way I'm puzzling, like I've thought about this is, and this is what my own personal experience and my own personal understanding, and I don't know where any of this is going, but hopefully this kind of helps somebody, because it's helped me. So, we go through this, we birth, and then, you have your series of life where, your seasons where you're happy, and then you're sad, and you're happy, and you're sad, and then you're happy, and you're sad, you're happy, and you're sad, then it ends. And so I guess I could put up here, I would say happy, and everything that comes with happy, and everything that comes with sad. So I would say you have like, you accomplish a goal, right? Boom. You get paid. Boom. You get that job. Boom. You, you land that career. You land that girl. You get that fling you've been wanted. You get the new car. You get all this excitement. All this stuff is the happy stuff, right? And then you have the sad stuff. You go through breakups. You go broke. You're behind on bills. You're hungry. You're stressed. You're emotional. People piss you off. All this. I would say all that I would throw into this like sad, or I would just say this. Instead of saying sad, we'll do a low. And instead of saying happy, we'll do a high. That's what we can do. We can do high and low. And what I used to do is I would forget about this baseline. I would forget here, and I would forget about this baseline, man. And like what I've started to kind of notice is anytime Fernando is having a high, whether it's a bonus, whether it's a commission check, whether it's the response I wanted from a girl, whether it's something car related that feeds my ego, whether it's any little form of just like dopamine rush that you get where it's just like, oh man, this is really good. I start to trend upwards, and then that little moment, that little victory, that little feeling, all these are like feelings, right? It's not so much the action that happens, but it's the feelings that come with these victories. The feeling of that starts to die down, and I celebrate. So I reward myself. Boom. On the rise up, I reward myself. Rise up, reward myself. And I keep rewarding myself on the accomplishment of these things. Well, then I get the said victory, and what happens is I kind of get back to the baseline of it all. It's gone, it passes, and I kind of just stay here for a little bit, and then I go through a season of emotions where I maybe not get a commission check this month. I may not, get the response from somebody I'm interested in this month. I may get rejected. I may lose a deal. I may hurt my leg. I may sell my cars. I may quit my career and not figure out exactly how the fuck I'm going to pay for my life, and there's these are the feelings that come with that little depression, that little low, that little uncertainty, that little overwhelmingness of emotions, right? And so with being in this low part, man, I have gotten a lot better, but I used to be really bad at when I get into these lows. What happens to me is I start to sit here, and I just sit here and sit here and sit here. And then because depressed, lonely, rejected, sad, whatever, just mad, whatever, then I start adding things like alcohol. And what ends up happening is I don't get out of that hole, and it becomes a very dark, long process where, excuse me, where where I don't accomplish anything, and I'm in my own head, in my own lows, and I start to like really focus in on them. And I do that even in the highs of it all. I do that even in when I'm high, I'm celebrated, I'm up there, things are going great, whatever. Well, I focus so much on that, and all that's done so far is gotten me in trouble, and I say that because I've kept. Let me see. I say that because I've gotten, it's what I've always done. And kind of where I'm going with this is like recognizing, recognizing the things that I do bad and the things that are bad habits, right? The things that keep kind of getting me the same results, right? And I don't know where I had read this or where I've heard this, but like humans are the only things that repeat the same mistake more than once. And I've heard that multiple times, and I can't remember if it was in a podcast or a book or something like that that I read, but it got me thinking. It's just like, damn, I am the same idiot that keeps doing the same thing expecting different results. And like all this kind of like started to unfold kind of after my experience with the shrooms and all that stuff and this thought process, I guess. So I started to kind of look back at like what I've been doing and how things have continued to go and navigate in my life, and what are some of the key factors and contributors to the demise of my own well-being. And I can attribute it to this. In the midst of something going really great, I get really excited, I get really high, and then I like celebrate, boom, and then I lose it. And then I kind of sit back at the baseline and I get in that low, and then I sit here for so long, I try to ride this wave out, and I end up kind of putting myself in a, upside down position, because now I'm back to base one. Instead of riding this wave out, remaining humble and letting the feelings and the emotions just keep, going, but me not like ever allowing myself to lose the baseline, like physically, emotionally be here, let the world do, but try to stay, try to walk like this line right here. I'll do like this straight line right here, boom, here, and then here, and I'll do like this little shaded part there, right? Like try to remain here in all this, right? So you have a bad day, you have a good day, okay? Give yourself kind of like a pat on the back and be like, damn, like I am a confident person that can accomplish the things he set out to do. And then also, but also remember that like, hey, like a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, a couple years ago, we weren't here. So give yourself credit, give yourself grace. And then, don't forget, we got to stay at this baseline, because this will pass. And this is also what's helped me on the other side. Like when I get into these lows and this little depression and this little like, mental blocker that I can't seem to get out of, I remember that like, hey man, like you're in a low, take action, but take the right actions. Take the actions that, go to the gym, work out, walk, ride your bike, stay away from like the alcohol stuff, because that's not good for me in that phase, and I don't benefit anybody. I'm not at my best ability when I'm in that phase. And like the other day I had a low and I wanted to go out and drink, and I was hitting up some buddies like, man, let's go drink, let's go to, but then like one of my friends was like, nah man, you got a big day tomorrow, focus, stay on top of it. And I was like, man, cool, I'm just gonna go home. She's right, I'm gonna go home, I'll get some sleep, I'll get my day started for what I got going on, and then I'll push through. And what ended up happening is I ended up having a great day, but I got out of that little mental low and that little blocker because I started to think back of like, don't lean into, and I'm thankful that my friend said no because I probably would have gone and done the same dumb shit that like, you know, mental dumb shit where I keep being my own crutch or my own kryptonite, you know? So I'm very, very aware now as to when I'm overstimulated in like the high of the success that I've gotten and received and how my emotions are pegging out and I want to go do dumb shit because I'm in a good mood, right? I'm confident, the money's there, the success is there, the little, you know, achievement of whatever I accomplished, that little feeling you get from just accomplishing that, I overdo it, you know? And then I end up in a situation where I'm like, crap, you know, why did I do that? I just put myself back in the same hole, the same mental hole, you know? So I'm being a little bit more aware as to what triggers that excitement and then what my trend is. And then I am a lot more aware now as to not allow myself to get to that emotional, into the actions of that emotional phase and just stay grounded in that thing, right? And then, you know, on the negative side of it, the low side of it, you know, instead of focusing on what's kind of like the low and feeding into that low machine, I start looking at like what I have been able to accomplish, what I do have in my life that's good. Ask for help, communicate with people, talk to people, get it out, write it down, you know, put stuff out like this. And like people might be like, man, this is too much. This is TMI. This is like your own personal life. Don't put yourself out there. But I'll be honest with you, man. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people, when I open this door, they walk through it. And these people wouldn't have walked through this door if I wouldn't have opened it. And they also start to talk about how they feel and how they can relate with what it is. And they never really thought about it like that. And like, oh man, that is good. Man, that never thought about it, you know? So if I don't have these conversations, I don't, if I don't have these conversations with myself or put this stuff out there, I keep it here. And one thing that I've wanted to do so that I don't ever miss out on amazing opportunities ever in life and anything is the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of not having the confidence to accomplish something, the fear of never communicating and speaking how I really feel, or just wanting to get my emotions out and what's been bothering me, right? Like I don't ever want to feel like that. And I don't know why we feel like we can't, you know, and I haven't gotten that far into it. I can imagine there's a couple reasons why we restrict or we feel like we can't vocalize how we feel. And it's because it's never really, you know, taken well. And I think one of the things that I've gotten a lot better at is putting my feelings out there so that I am vulnerable. And I'll be honest with you, that vulnerability has opened a lot more doors for my business, has opened a lot of like amazing opportunities for just me and my life. And I love the level of growth that I've had over the last like year or so. And I love just what's happening around me and like the people that I'm being able to just like help and be a part of and just like give them that like cushion to fall on, man. And like I'll tell y'all something, like I really genuinely feel like I have a little gift. I have a little calling, you know? And I don't know where or what it is exactly, but I know that when I'm on top of my A game and I'm not in my own head, whether overly stimulated or like understimulated and kind of depressed and lonely, I know that like at my baseline, Fernando is more beneficial to people and I'm in a better place. So a lot of like what I try to do now is like, hey, if you're in a low, acknowledge the things that are the things that bring you into the low, and then be careful for the triggers that keep you in the low. And then if you're in a high, be mindful of the things that trigger you to continue and kind of rage a little bit in that success, you know? Excuse me. And be mindful of those things. And then when you see those things, don't lean into them and don't fall into them. Give yourself like a day or two, give yourself like an hour to kind of walk away, or just walk away from whatever's there and kind of separate yourself from those things, man. And it's been pretty liberating to be able to kind of feel and recognize these things. And I'm a lot more comfortable speaking on these things, and I'm a lot more comfortable about putting this stuff out there because, one, like, we all go through it, and I know we all go through it because I talk to a lot of people, and we all have the same feelings and the same emotions. And man, a lot of the problems and a lot of the bullshit that we go through is because we don't vocalize what it is that we're really feeling or what it is that we're really going through, and in the fear of whatever, man. And like, I tell you what, I sleep a lot better knowing that I got what I was really feeling off my chest. And I feel like my delivery, and I feel like the things that I am expressing are are not are not like my own personal biases, because I try to check myself sometimes. And I try to look at it from the other perspective, and I try to kind of just be a little bit more open-minded and try to think of a counter argument or a counter response to what I'm thinking. Like, am I wrong? Like, I don't know if this is right. Like, I don't know, like, how to, I don't know a lot, like, about what I'm feeling or what's going on, but like, I know that I'm feeling some kind of way, and I want to get it out. I don't want to hold it in. And like, I don't know where it came from or whatever. Or like, I hate the cliche stigma of like men and whatever, the pride or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, man, like, it's like super expensive out there for a lot of people. The stress of parenthood, the stress of like where we're at now because our parents are getting a little bit older. If not already passing, some of us have already lost our parents. So like, we're dealing with that. Some of us are parents too, and some of us don't have the support of our parents for whatever reason, whether physically because they're not here, or maybe you just emotionally or physically you guys just don't have that relationship, or whatever the case may be. But like, there are so many factors of just life that I can see how it can be very overwhelming for a lot of people, and I can see why, like, it's a lot of people, I mean, just feeling stuck and feeling like, it's like the walls are closing in, man. But I can promise you this: if you can learn to control your emotions and remember the triggers and watch for those trends, right? Like, again, we're the only animals that repeat the same mistake more than once or twice or whatever, right? So like, start to kind of be aware of those things and kind of read the room. You wouldn't walk into a room where things were, like, I guess I can put it in this perspective. When I ended up going to jail and ended up in county, like, man, like, it's kind of, you walk in there and you're like, shit, you got that gut feeling where you're not, you don't want to be around these people. You're not a bad person. You messed up, you got in trouble, cool, whatever. But it doesn't make you a bad person. You made a mistake. And I remember that feeling of like walking in that room and just knowing that, like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm better than this. Like, I need to do better. And like, and that feeling, sometimes you walk into a room now and you kind of read the room and you're like, this ain't the room for me. And like, instead of trying to change the room or get mad that the room is, what it is, man, just walk back out and go the other door, go through another door. You'll find your room. And like, sometimes, like, we don't even need to try to just speak on or change the what do you call it? Like it's like not the ambiance or whatever, but like the morale. You don't need to change the morale of that room. Let that fucking room be, man, and walk away from it. Put yourself in another room where your light is instead of being dimmed, your light is amplified, and that's been a big key thing for me too. Is like, even in business, because human nature, man, like, I don't care what anybody says. I am in the business of helping people, and I truly do want to help people. But ultimately, it's my own selfish things that I just learned that if I help people and I prioritize people, I will get paid. But the reason for doing all this is so that I can create the foundation and grow this business. And then from there, I can eat off of this business, and I can use the money, the tool, to create a life for me that allows me to continue to live this level of peace and comfort. And I don't have to worry about chasing every deal, every dollar, because I want to work with people that I want to work with. I don't want to work with everybody. And everybody isn't, Master P said something in a podcast that I listened to, and he's like, man, you don't want to do business with everybody. You don't want headache money. And that reminds me a lot of this business. And I think because of some of the financial pressure that I've been able to remove because of the savings and my extreme cut down of life, I don't have to chase every deal. I don't have to chase every dollar. And that's been very liberating. It's been a slow process because I'm not seeing the money come in right away, but I know that it's working because I'm getting referrals sent to me. So I know that I'm building a solid foundation for myself and my business where, the people that I'm helping, I'm treating them like if it was my deal, and I'm treating them like if they were my family and my friends, because they are. And I want to make sure I do everything that I can in my power to where this thing sees it through. And like, I'm not perfect. I do mess up. There's a deal that I lost with a friend of mine at the old plant where I used to work at that like, it went sour. And I don't know. I do know 110% that there was a lot of things I could have done differently. And it bothers me that, I haven't been able to, it bothers me that I let them down, that I didn't do better, but I'm growing and I'm learning, and I can't beat myself up about that. And I can't, focus on just that, because if I focused on just that and I didn't learn from it, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I hate that I learned at the expense of that, at them and their, experience. And I hate that happened. But at the end of the day, man, I was a baby in the game, and I still am. And I'm going to continue to keep learning about different things. And I'm a lot more comfortable in approaching things in a sense that I don't have all the answers, but I can figure it out. And I don't know where I was going with all the rest of this stuff, but like, I don't know, man. If you can get control of your emotions, I think that's going to be a very good step in your day-to-day activity. And it's a little bit liberating because you can choose when to overreact or when to get overstimulated. And then also too, controlling those emotions when someone does piss you off or someone does make you mad. You don't have to respond. You can walk away from it. And here's another little liberating little pointer for me is that like, why did I get mad? It's because they didn't do things to my expectation. Well, what if this person was doing things to the best of their ability? What if this person, we don't get mad at kids and we don't get mad at dogs, right? Because we have the understanding that kids and dogs haven't lived and don't have all the mental capability like an adult should and would and should have, right? So if we have the ability to not react or freak out when a child or a dog does something, why can't we also take that same basic fundamental and apply it to our interactions with other grown individuals? Because not everybody has had the same life experience as we have. And once you start to kind of think about it that way, you're not so reactive as in an emotional, up rage or low rage where you get angry or you get dark or you get excited or whatever. You kind of just stay grounded and you're like, okay, this person just did the best they can with what they have, and I shouldn't let the expectation of how it went work me up and put me in a bad headspace, right? So I'll leave it at that without going too much deeper and going down this. I don't know what the original point of this was, man. I think just kind of like mental health, and I don't know much about it other than I can tell you what's been some of the most beautiful things that I've been able to learn and kind of apply in my life that have liberated me a little bit of the stress and the worry of what I used to stress and worry about, I know where I'm going. I know where I plan to go. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know I have a plan. And I think that's another thing too is, man, I would say is a lot of times like we're just kind of going with the flow of things so that when something, happens bad and it doesn't go where we wanted it to, we forget, like, we lose track of stuff. So we get really emotionally connected and evolved, like, and attached to everything. So like, I think if you have a plan, and I say this because of my own personal experience, I buckled down and I got really serious on real estate and working on myself, that I started to kind of see where I was spending a lot of my time not really aimlessly spending a lot of my time, and I don't ever want to do that anymore. I don't ever want to. I don't ever want to really. I don't ever really want to. I don't want to continue to live my life in an aimless manner, because then you're kind of vulnerable to just everything that life throws at you. So I'm a little bit more purposeful. I'm a little bit more goal oriented, and I kind of am a little more mindful as to what's fueling that goal and what isn't, and what's pulling away from it. So get a plan, learn to kind of see your triggers and where and how you deal with things. And then other than that, man, give yourself a little bit of grace and give yourself a little pat on the back for getting this far and accomplishing the things that you have been able to do. And keep in mind, you've gone through a lot of tough times, and you are a badass. You are more than capable. You are confident. You are disciplined. It may not just be in the bigger goals, but it is in the little things. And sometimes we forget that we are capable of having, or we do have those fundamentals. We just need to learn to apply them on the things that we're weak at, our vices, the things that we allow to kind of control us. So I hope this kind of resonates with somebody, and I hope this kind of just helps somebody get through what they're going through, because it's helped me. And I want people to experience this level of peace and this level of comfort that I'm at. And I'm going to continue to keep pressing forward and continue to keep pushing towards a better version of myself, so that I can be a better resource to not only me, but to those around me that I love and I have, and I'm grateful to do life with, you know? So, other than that, man, that's all I got. You know, if you guys got anything, and don't feel free, you know, to put it in the comments. Feel free to send me a DM. I'm on Instagram under literally my name. It's at Fernando_Chavira __. It's a lot of business. It's a lot of personal life on there. It's a lot of joking, dark humor stuff. And I just try to put a little bit more positivity out into the world. And I do that on a day-to-day basis, you know, just here in my life by myself with my friends and my close ones, you know, my loved ones. But I want to be able to kind of reach in and tap a little bit more of a bigger audience, and kind of encourage people to live a more, you know, liberating life from your own self, man. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a good week. It is Tuesday. I'm wrapping up my work day. It's Wednesday. I got a few more little things I need to do to just get out and get signatures done. And we're just kind of gonna go through there and push through the motions. I got a big week next week. I've got 2 closings the same week this month, and I'm just in a I'm in a good momentum, and I'm just trying to just be careful of the head on a swivel and look for those things that derail me from an emotional goal, and, you know, just a different perspective, you know, or just from a different, not a perspective. Yeah. I guess whatever. I don't know where I was going with that. Much love, you guys. I hope this helps. And like I said, if you need anything, feel free to let me know. I'd love to be able to help you, or just be all ears if you just need to get something off your chest, man. We're all dealing with shit, you know.